Okay, today we're gonna do a book review of a book that I use that has nothing to do with consulting. It's actually specifically about startup pitch decks. But I've literally given this book to multiple clients to give them a reference document for developing great PowerPoint stories. And clients are always asking me to help them or help their people with storytelling. And this book, which we found and used for some of our technology startups that we're invested in, was so applicable for how to tell a story that we started using it on the consulting side. So the book is called Get Backed. It's got good reviews and support. This Barbara Corcoran, I don't know if you've ever seen this show, Shark Tank, she recommends it, which is interesting. But what's from the book structure perspective, it's interesting up front and worth your time to go through how they tell you to tell a story. So imagine you're pitching a technology startup to a room full of venture capital investors. You've got 15 minutes to make an impact. You've got to be crisp and concise. And ultimately, that's what we need our business communications to do also. They talk about how to build impactful stories. And I'll show you a couple of things down here. I took a couple snapshots from the book online. But what's even more valuable is this second half of the book where they give you great examples. And I use this. Looking at these stories, looking at these slides, how few words are on these slides, how imagery is used, and it's just more effective communication. And at the end of the day, when we're doing these projects and we're doing the consulting work, anything in business in general, the more effective you are with your communications, the more impactful you are. So I find these, literally, they just give you example decks. They probably give you 2 or 3 dozen at the back of this book. It sparks my thinking. And if I can just look at this and reference this, it'll tweak ideas in my mind. It'll make me think of things I should have already been thinking about. And I end up telling better stories. So again, I've literally given this book to maybe a dozen clients. They seem to like it. I've given it to some of our consultants. They seem to like it also. So we thought this was worth your time. Let me hit on a couple of important nuggets that they talk about in the book. This is the building blocks of a pitch deck. Overview, opportunity, problem, solution, traction, customer or market, competition, business model, team, use of funds. Now that's specific to a pitch deck for an investor, but it's also relevant for building a story, depending on what the story is. But a lot of times we're talking about ideas and we need the building blocks of the story, right? Overview, the opportunity, the problem, the solution. Those are building blocks of almost any reason why we're building a story and any reason why you're trying to take somebody on the journey. You've got to show them that there's even an opportunity here or a pain point that's worth them paying attention to, and then the solution, possible traction to get it going. So I love this concept of the building blocks of a story. By the way, I studied communications in university, and this was part of how they talked about building stories also. It was building blocks. So this concept is relevant. This is another interesting picture that they talk about in terms of building up the story. You've kind of got this beginning where you paint a picture. You've got this middle where you present contrasting content and you alternate between what is and what could be. And then you kind of get to the end and crossing the threshold. These are elements of a movie. These are literally proven elements to telling stories in a way that our brains connect to and digest and remember, okay? And so that leads directly into what not to do, right? Which is what we all see all the time, right? These lists of just a ton of words. Listen, I've been guilty of this myself. And what this is this demonstrates that you were either lazy or you didn't have enough time to streamline it down. There's this great quote, I can't remember what it's from, but it essentially says, "I'm sorry for the long letter. It would have been shorter if I had more time." That is a powerful concept and a powerful statement. I think there was another one from Albert Einstein that said, "You don't really know something until you can explain it simply." So I'm trying to lock a couple of mind shifts here. If you can buy into that mind shift, you can see how brutal this slide is and how most of the slides that we develop and most of the slides that I see, and I'm pretty sure you see on a regular basis, are terrible. So they go into elements, again, specific to investors, but relevant for you. Investors are extremely busy. They see hundreds, if not thousands, of pitches a year. Substitute the word investor for executive or leader or user. All of us in our business lives are overwhelmed by information. So we've got to get this down simple. The eye is faster than the mind. You've noticed this. I'm just going to state the obvious. When you're talking, you're going to see the audience scanning the slide. They're getting ahead of you and they're looking for the story. And the simplicity of a simple story allows their brain to catch up to what they're seeing. This confuses and boggles the brain when there's that many words on there, okay? Good design improves clarity. People learn better when information is presented with great illustrations. I've already kind of touched on this, okay? I don't want to waste your time too much. People are insulted when you give them trash. That is so true. Again, it's a bad look for you. When you insult your audience, they reflect it back on you. It's a bad look for you. So key elements: layout, typography, color, images, visualize data. To me, just saying this doesn't help me. What I need and why I have found this book to be so powerful, again, just coming back to this, is this second section where you give me examples and I can see what imagery and color and good design looks like. I'm not a designer. You're probably not a designer either. When I see what it looks like though, when I see what good looks like, I can copy that. And so that's why I have found this book to be so valuable. It's not cheap. I want to say it's like $30. It might even be like $40 on Amazon. You can reach out to us. We've probably got 24 copies. We'll send it to you, but it's worth it. If you're somebody that does a lot of slides, I would say invest in yourself as a reference tool. I've literally gone into my client's office when I've given them this book and I've seen it like on their desk, like stacked with their key books that they reference. So I think you'll use it as a tool. As always, give us your feedback. Let us know if this is helpful. Let us know if you want more content like this. We've heard from people that they like to hear what we read in the books that have influenced us. So we're trying to shoot off some of those content to you. So let us know your thoughts and let us know if this is valuable. Thanks for your time.